The camera shyness is just, bro. No, I'm just too, I actually can't. No, I can, guys. Today we will be talking about what I'm going to be doing throughout this semester for uni. So first things first, morning and night routines. Morning and night routines are so important to set up for the rest of your day. So in the past, I used to be one of those people who just gets up last minute and does everything last minute. I did that for years, but then once I got into uni, second year of uni, I decided I'm going to start implementing a morning and night routine, and it completely changed my life. I cannot stress enough how important this is because it really sets your day up. You have some sort of control. You feel like you have some sort of control when you get into a routine like this. I'm someone who likes a very slow morning routine. I know some people really like just go. And I do the same with my night routine. So morning and night routines don't have to be very complicated. It can be so simple. Before uni, I really take the time to actually figure out my schedule, see where my classes are, and then make my morning and night routine based off that. So this semester, I want to aim to wake up at 5:30 and sleep by 9:30. I want to make sure that I have my 8 hours of sleep. And that's so important. So I'll give you guys an example of my morning routine for this semester. So I'm still trying to get into the rhythm. Definitely over the holidays I had late nights and woke up late, so I'm gradually trying to wake up earlier and get into it. So last couple of days I've been trying to get to 5:30, but I've been waking up at 6, so getting there. Between 5:30 to 6 o'clock is when I want to slowly get up and brush my teeth. And then from 6 to 7, I've made a time for real dopamine. So not the phone. So things like sunlight and going on a walk. I'm not a gym girl. I've come to that conclusion that I'm not a gym girl. So instead, walking and doing some workouts at home is definitely more my thing. So that's probably what I'll be doing within that time. And then once it hits 7, I want to get ready and then eat breakfast and do all that until 8, which I will be out the door most likely for most days. And then for night routine, I want to start at 8:30. So I want to brush my teeth and then clean my room and get things ready for the next day. And then by 9:15, I want to meditate and then go to sleep by 9:30. So it can literally be as simple as that. You don't have to make a very overcomplicated routine, because sometimes that's what stops us from getting into that routine. And one thing I definitely struggle with in the morning is scrolling on my phone. That's just such a struggle. But I feel like whenever I start uni, I tend to stop that habit. And recently I did find an app that's really been useful that one of my friends actually recommended to me. It's called Social Limits. And basically you need an amount of steps in order for you to actually open social media apps and stuff like that. So that's been really helpful. I've put in this sunlight very specifically because I feel like usually whenever I do use my phone in the morning, it's a way to make me more awake. And so instead of using artificial light, why not use nature? So that's why I'm specifically putting this in, because I know it helps me to actually wake up. And I've been doing that the past couple days, which has been so good. The only thing is when it does hit winter, it can be a bit difficult. I did buy myself a sunset alarm clock. I don't know if people have heard of that before, but it's really good, where it's an alarm clock and the light itself is kind of like the sun, sunrise. Yeah, it's sunrise. Just within 30 minutes before you have to wake up, the light just gets brighter, so then it slowly wakes you up, which it's kind of still artificial light, but at least you're not scrolling. It's it's better than that. But I think that'll be really good for the winter, because it's so gloomy outside in Melbourne, and consistency is just key. So, and we have to realize that consistency doesn't mean you're doing the exact same thing every single day. it just means that, you know, you still push through whenever it does get hard for you to, you know, continue these routines. Even let's say, for example, I want to wake up at 5:30, but I might have days where I want to wake up a bit later, and that's okay as long as I still try and incorporate the, you know, sunlight maybe for 15 minutes instead of a full, you know, half an hour or something like that. So yeah, it's really about trying to stay consistent. And seriously, for the rest of the day, you're just going to feel amazing because you're like, I've achieved all these things in the morning. And the same with nighttime, you'll feel so rested. And so that's the cycle that we want to continue. So it's so important, especially for those who are studying. I know it's really hard to be consistent with studying. So this also just helps you practice consistency, which is so important. So the next thing I want to talk about, which I implemented last year and it really helped, was time blocking. Time blocking really allows you to structure your day, you know, hour by hour. And then what happens is, because you have those times structured to do, you know, what you need to do, you try not to move out of it. So it really helps you keep consistent. You have no leeway, so you want to make sure you don't give yourself that much leeway, because or else you will procrastinate. And so that's what time blocking really helps with, procrastination. I know for a fact that I was just such a bad procrastinator in the past, but then once I implemented time blocking, it really helped. Last year I did time block for like every week for the entire semester, so I'd be trying to do the same thing every week. But this year I've tried to make it a bit more flexible, in the sense that I want to do it for every single week. I do like a different time block. So obviously with classes, I have my set classes, but you know, sometimes there are like extra labs and workshops, and so it's not consistent throughout the week, so I can't necessarily have the same thing every week. So my study times are going to change depending on that. I also make sure that I block out times to do like my quizzes and my tests, and I really want to try and do like pre-work and post-work. Post-work meaning like just revision after class and things like that. So I schedule all those times, which is really helpful. One thing I will say about time blocking is, as much as I say make sure it's like, you know, every hour you have something planned, I would say give yourself like a couple hours where you haven't allocated anything, just in case that you have subjects that you need to catch up on, and you have, or like any assignments you have, so things like that. So make sure you have like a couple hours blocked out for that, just in case. And if you don't have anything, well, you can relax, so it's pretty good. So the next thing I want to talk about is a bit interesting, I'd say. It's probably one of my favorite topics, but it's clothing. I honestly think when you look good, you feel good. And I feel like for me, going to uni, I like wearing my nice fits. It makes me feel so put together, and I'm like ready for the day, and I'm here to study and do my work. It doesn't make me feel sleepy. So that's one of the important things. I feel like for me, like for some people, maybe trackies, you know, trackies and hoodie really helps them, you know, feel comfortable and just, you know, study like that. But for me, like I feel really sleepy and lazy, so that's just not for me. So I think it actually is really important to decide what you wear when you go to uni. Be intentional about it. Think about how you feel when you're in certain clothes. Does it make you feel motivated? Does it make you feel lazy? Does it make you feel like you want to party? Like, it's just, you really want to be intentional with what you wear. So I like putting my jewelry on, like my watches and my bracelets, and my makeup and clothes. Yeah, just, it makes me feel really just ready for the day. I think it's so important because it really helps you be productive for the rest of the day. And for me, I really like the process of getting ready in the morning. It really puts me in the zone of, like I'm going out, I'm gonna study, I'm gonna, you know, be productive. So that really helps. And then that includes home as well. Like you wanna, if you're studying at home, it's good to dress the way you would dress if you're going to somewhere you're studying. And I'll give you an example of this mindset. Like when you go to school and you have your exams, the teachers want you to come in with your school uniform for a reason, because it puts you in that mindset of, I'm here to do some learning or, you know, pass the exam. This is very school related. So yeah, it's just like a conscious, subconscious thing that really helps you get in the zone. Okay, so last but not least, probably the most obvious one though, please try and get ahead of your work. Please try and get ahead. Do your content, pre-readings and all that ahead of time, because seriously, like when assignments start piling up, it's so difficult to just like not stay back and just be like, well, I've, you know, gotten behind already and I can't do anything about it. Like, it's so easy to fall into that mindset. So, you know, being a week ahead at least is really good. Allocate time for you to make sure that you do content ahead. That's what I do. Because then you can also focus on trying to revise that content as well. And I feel like it's really easy to say because we do try, you know, we do try and, you know, get ahead. And then, you know, it just doesn't end up happening. But I think that's why the time blocking is so important. So these kind of interconnect. But yeah, that's why the time blocking is so important. So for example, within those 4 hours or, you know, a day of, you know, where I said that you don't put anything in, you can, you know, do content ahead of time. And that's it. So thank you for watching the video. So these are the things that I'll be implementing throughout the semester, and we'll see how the semester goes.